Basic Sailboat Cruising Course Teaser presented by NavCal Cruisers University and Captain John Farmer. This course is based on 50-plus years of sailing, racing, and cruising training and experience, both inland and coastal, recreational, and commercial. Captain Farmer holds a Coast Guard 100-ton inland master's license with radar endorsement and has piloted passenger vessels up to 800 horsepower and 360 passengers for over 16 years, now retired. He also holds an OUPV near coastal license with a sail endorsement. He's been actively studying marine navigation through Celestial and is a certified instructor. He and his first mate currently cruise a 29-foot-plus Catalina out of Knoxville, Tennessee. The goals of this new seminar are to provide instruction in outfitting and using a cruising sailboat, provide guidance on cruising equipment selection, provide basic inland cruise planning instruction, and provide on-water course exercises, including plan a 3-day cruise and actually execute a 20-mile round-trip cruise. Areas to be covered in this seminar include deck equipment, sails and sail control review, interior layout, underwater hull, cruiser systems, emergency situations, onboard storage, dinghy, personal gear, skipper and crew, cruise preparation, winter storage, and buying a cruiser. The deck equipment section on anchors will include different types of anchors and which anchors are best for which bottom conditions. Deck equipment safety will include PFD harnesses, tethers, life rafts, and radar reflectors. Sails and sail controls will include jibs and genoas, hank-on sails, leech lines, reefing lines, roller furling, and the newer soft shackles. Section 3 on interior layout cabins includes the master, V-berth, and salon or saloon, depending on whether you serve alcohol aboard or not. Interior layout cabins will provide examples of a typical cruiser interior layout and suggestions for additions. Section 4, underwater keels, will include different types of keels and which are best for what type of sailing conditions. Section 5 on engines will include both gas and diesel propulsion engines for cruising sailboats. The section on engine cooling will include through hulls, seawater strainers, raw water pumps, heat exchangers, and many other parts of your vessel cooling system. Section 5 AC systems includes your AC wiring and ABYC suggestions or recommendations for safety considerations. Section 5 DC systems include the master panel and both analog and digital battery monitors. Section 5 water includes a typical layout for a potable water system, and also for tank level monitors for potable water and black water. Section 5 waste includes black water holding tanks, macerator pumps, and the fact that in most areas gray water can be discharged directly overboard. Section 5 instruments will cover some of the typical instruments you might find aboard a cruising sailboat. Also under instruments, we will include a discussion of VHF DSC radios and how to make an emergency automated marine distress call. Section 6 towing will include towing the vessel in a traditional line to the bow, as well as hip towing that offers more maneuverability, especially when trying to get a vessel back into a slip. Section 6 fire will include a suggested method for extinguishing engine room fires safely, and also point out the need for carbon monoxide detectors. Section 8 dinghy will include both oars, outboard gas, and the newer electric motors for moving your dinghy. Section 9 heavy weather includes suggestions for foul weather gear if you happen to be caught out in a bad situation. Section 10 covers skipper and especially crew selection, and includes the West Point Sailing Club Fiancé test. 1 weekend aboard a Catalina 22, totally away from a marina. If still speaking, Fiancé is definitely compatible. Working together aboard a sailboat is definitely necessary. She's not a military vessel, but you do need one captain for decision making. But decisions should be shared as well as job assignments aboard. Medical considerations for longer cruises are definitely important, and some people are troubled with motion sickness. We'll discuss some of the possibilities for combating this motion sickness. In Section 11 on cruise preparation, we will obviously cover weather, both weather averages that you can get from monthly pilot charts, as well as predictions from sources such as Predict Wind. Cruise preparation obviously involves charts. We will discuss paper charts, the older RNCs that are going away and being replaced by NOAA custom charts, ENCs and IENCs for inland navigation. Cruising guides are a valuable source of information as you plan your cruise. Fuel stops need to be researched carefully. Provisioning is an important consideration, especially for longer cruises where you may not have access to local grocery stores. You likely eat the same sorts of things you eat at home, but storage considerations will be quite different aboard. Under destinations, we will discuss how to build and file a free float plan with the America's Boating Club app, and also methods of communications if you're offshore. Depending on where you live, winter storage is an important consideration when owning a cruising sailboat. You need to protect the internal system. Obviously, the water system needs to be protected, and you also need to remove the sails and dodger to protect them during the winter. and it is advisable to check your boat frequently. In buying a new or new-to-you cruiser, you have quite a few decisions to make. The first one is obviously hull type. Do you want a traditional monohull, a catamaran, or the newer trimarans? This course will include an on-water exercise to enforce things that you've learned. It will include the planning of a 3-day inland cruise with overnight stops, the actual execution of a 20-mile round trip, provisioning the boat, clothing for the anticipated weather, crew check medical requirements, preparing a float plan, pre-departure checks, and getting underway power, and also some underway sailing. Other areas for the on-the-water exercise include performing a man overboard drill, anchoring at the anticipated waypoint, preparing a meal for the cruise, cleanup of meal and the food preparation, retrieving the anchor, returning to the dock, and during the return trip, there will be a discussion of things that were covered during the course and the exercise. The course will include the planning and submission of the cruise plan for a 3-day inland cruise on local rivers. Before we depart on the on-water exercise, all vessels must have a vessel safety check. This is a free service and can be arranged by the instructor from either America's Boating Club or the Coast Guard Auxiliary. Any cruise needs a pre-departure briefing. Obviously, you need to point out the location of fire extinguishers. Everyone needs to have a fitted PFD. Explain snack and drink usage, and describe marine toilet uses, especially for those that are not familiar with marine toilets. Pre-departure briefings should also include onboard safety equipment and how to use VHF to make a mayday, pon-pon, or security call if necessary. If you're in an area with commercial traffic, it's a good idea to check to see if there's any commercial traffic in the area. This can be done with onboard AIS or a Find Ship or similar cell phone app. Anytime before getting underway, you need to make a final weather check, and marine VHF radio is one good way to do that. You need to switch to your cranking battery, and if you have a diesel engine, you probably need to use glow plugs. Once underway, we will check your VHF radio either with other vessels in the area or with the instructor's handheld, and we will turn on and use the chart plotter for navigation. During the on-water exercise, we will have some sailing time and some powering time, observing the proper rules of the road for each, and we will also monitor our location by using ATONs that have river mile markers. We all hope we never have to face it, but it is important to perform man overboard exercises just in case something happens. If you've ever been involved in an actual man overboard, you know how important this training can be. During the return trip, we'll discuss what you learned during the course and also possible improvements. We'll look at lessons learned, further practice that can help you, and further study, including navigation. The absolute best way to improve your sailing skills is through racing. with your local sailing club. So get signed up now. America's Boating Channel is another source of free instructional videos. If you're interested in getting your Coast Guard captain's license, you need to start your logbook now, as you have to document 360 days of sea service on the water. Courses are held by True Course Institute and others at various locations. It is advisable to take the America's Boating Club Marine Navigation course first, as this will help you in getting your license. Thank you for watching this teaser for this new basic sailboat cruising course that is under development as of August 2021. It currently has approximately 168 PowerPoint slides and more being added as needed. For further information, contact captfarmer@gmail.com, and remember that educated boating is enjoyable boating. Also, take a look at our other free YouTube videos on navigation.